So, hello. I am Sabo, EKS Beachside Bodywork, and usually I've been recording classes on Wednesdays and Saturdays and putting up 2 classes a week, but today, unfortunately, my recording didn't work. For some reason, 8 minutes into the class, it turned off. So, instead of class today, I'm going to put up a little workshop on arm balances. This is breaking down arm balances so that a beginner could feel them. Maybe not a beginner, but I guess if you have an arm balance practice, you're probably somewhat advanced, but this is even if you don't have an arm balance practice. The idea is just to get you to understand what it feels like to start using the body, the upper arm, for example, as a shelf for a leg, the way you would, trying to come into certain arm balances. Just having that as a shelf for another part of your body and having an understanding of how that works is hard enough, and that's what I'm going to help you get today. With pretty basic versions of arm balances. So we're going to start with just 2 blocks, that's all you need. And we're going to put the blocks down, put them sideways to start to show you this little warm-up we're going to do from the side. Have a seat on your blocks, feet forward, in Malasana. Sit as far forward on your blocks as you can. Your sitting bones are almost hanging off the front of the blocks. And then you're going to go ahead and tip forward on your blocks. Elbows come inside your knees and your hands come down into prayer, trying to make one straight line from elbow to elbow, so that when your knees squeeze in on that, the hands have nowhere to go. You're one line across the bone here, right? So no way for that to bend or break. You're going to, well, you can break it. You're going to squeeze in and then suck your low belly back to round. Okay? Enough pressure in the feet to keep you from falling forward, but you're not going to push your blocks back as you round. You're going to keep a little bit of compression from knees into the hand. Suck the low belly back to round. Drop your head down. Inhale. As you exhale, roll shoulders back. Bring your sternum toward your prayer. Open knees a little more. Good. Let's try that again. Knees drop in on elbows. Lift the outer foot a little. Pinky side of the foot. Roll to inner foot. Suck low belly back. Drop head around. And then roll shoulders back. Open the chest. Let your toes come down. Try to let your hips release a little more. One more like that. Drop the chin to the chest. Push into the feet. Knees hug in on elbows. Suck your low belly back around. Let your shoulder blades slide forward off the back. And then come back forward. Let your toes come down. Try to open hips a little more. Good. Now for the next one, we're going to bring knees to the right. So your left knee pushes your prayer right. Your right knee opens a little. Suck belly back, bring ribs left. Okay? So what does this look like from the front? Sitting on the front of the blocks. Tipping your blocks forward. Elbows inside the knees. Knees go one direction, ribs go the other direction. So if my knees are going left, I'll mirror you. Knees go left, that left knee opens. The elbows are sort of a conduit. The prayer is a conduit to get that to open. This knee's pushing across. Your ribs go the opposite direction. Right? So if knees go left, ribs go right. Your right shoulder can lift a little bit to open the ribs on that side. And roll forward, touch. Then back to the center. Knees go right, ribs go left. Suck the ribs back and left. Open up that right knee. Good, and bring it back to the center. Do a few more of those if you want to warm up a little more. Let's go into your arm balances. Bring the right foot back. I guess I'm mirroring you, so bring your left foot back. And then sit back a little bit on your blocks. Bring your right foot out to the side. Turn the foot out, okay? You're going to start out just working on a little bit of hip opening here. You're going to drop the knee open, keeping the foot turned out. Now notice the foot wants to just sickle and sort of die into the tendons in the outer foot. Try not to let that happen. Keep your foot grabbing the mat, inner foot long, even as you stretch the hip open. It's really important to kind of grab the floor with the foot. Once you have that, you're going to bring your hands forward. The other knee is open, left knee is open as well. And try to lean forward on the sitting bones. Okay, bring your left elbow in, close to your center line. And see if you can bring your right hand forward, but don't reach too far. Just reach a little bit and try to drop your right hip away. Use the foot to help steer the hip open. Your left shoulder comes down, pushing ribs left. Let's ribs kind of balloon out on the side over here. I guess this is your right, because I'm mirroring you. So your left shoulder blade pulls down, left elbow in, pushing your ribs right. And then you're going to try to drop that hip back. Open the knee. Just making space here. This is the space, hip dropping away from ribs, that you want to make in a lot of your arm balances. Let's bring it back up. Bring the knee in. bring the foot in. So first arm balance, focus on making that space, a pelvic bowl, literally coming away from ribs in here. Okay? Knees or feet, the foot and knee are in parallel. Okay, for you this is your right, my left. You're going to bring your right elbow in front of your right leg, and like you're elbowing something or elbowing someone back, upper arm makes a surface for that leg. Then bring your hand back so that your elbow's right over your hand. This is pretty close to a 90-degree angle, rolling that shoulder forward. Other hand comes to the mat. You're going to push back with your shoulder. Use your serratus, the muscles under here on the side to pull the shoulder back. Okay, to pin the leg back. And then push into the foot a little bit, push into the top of your left foot, lift your hips up. As you roll that shoulder back, it's going to lift your hip up and back a little bit. At the same time, once the pelvic bowl goes back, you're going to try to lean your ribs forward. You may even put forehead on the ground. Okay, just get that feeling of hitting hip back while ribs go forward into the hands. Okay, that's that tipping into an arm balance feeling. Okay, from there, let's just work on that. Once you get that, you can start picking that foot up off the ground. As long as you've got this shoulder forward, this hand right above it, or elbow right above hand, you got a little shelf there. You can lean forward and kneel on, pick your foot up. You can lean into the hand more so it's a little more square, and you see the beginning of your arm balance, this foot being off the ground. So from the side, right, you're sitting on your blocks. You put the elbow in front of the leg, hand right under elbow, other hand wide, pushing the top of the foot to come up, and then you pin it back and lift the foot up. You're kneeling on your own upper arm. And then you can really pin hip further back, ribs further forward, drop into the shoulder girdle a little bit, and fill space. Okay? That's arm balance number one. Okay? The next one we're going to do is maybe arguably a little bit easier. Maybe not. Just depends on how you sort of conceptualize these things, and it depends on how open your hip is for this one. We're going to turn your foot out to the side. Okay? And actually, we'll do the other arm balance on the other side. Come on, we'll just make it even here. Let's bring your left, this is my right foot forward. Bring the other knee straight in front of that hip. You're going to come hands to the ground between the two. Start. Okay, your left arm is going to come in front of your left shin. Bring the hand back. You've got to kind of reach it back and lodge it in there. Shoulder forward, elbow, trying to make almost a 90-degree angle here, but definitely elbow over hand. So you've got to shove. Okay, then you're going to push into the top of the other foot to come up off your blocks. Now keep drawing that left shoulder back, pinning the knee and hip back, ribs forward, dropping into shoulder or flattening spine. So not up here, drop down. And then see if you can pick that foot up, putting pressure into the hand. You may even have to put the head on the ground to be able to pick the foot up. And then keep pinning hip back, ribs forward, chin in. Okay? And then from there, you can obviously see where other arm balances come in. But it starts to get you to learn how to use the arm against the surface. Okay, the next one we're going to do involves just a simple hip opener first, okay? We're going to keep the foot turned out. We'll do your right, my left. And I'm going to bring the arm underneath the leg out to the side. So that's a pretty deep stretch in the hip, right? You've got to be able to get your rib cage inside the groin and get the arm under the leg, okay? So you want to think about really dropping chest to the floor here. Shoulder rolling forward. You can hold the back of the ankle and swing your elbow wide. You can see the elbow coming out the other side of the leg, and you'll start to feel the surface that leg is going to rest on. And hand comes down. Again, you've got to have elbow over hand. Hand back far enough so that you have a shelf with that upper arm for the leg to be on. Other hand is there for support. And then just leaning forward, so weight's in your hands, pick your foot up. And that's the beginning of arm balance, right? Vinyasa from here. You can lean into that. Right? Okay. So just getting used to making a shelf with your own arm, pinning the hip back. Okay, you can also work on binds from here. The other hand can turn up, so palm faces up. Bring it to the back. So it looks like that. Other hand reaching around. Okay, if it's your right foot that we're binding up, it would be your right hand holding left wrist. And then you pull. That right hand pulls on the left arm, rolling the left shoulder blade back toward the spine. Then you would push into the left knee, come to toes, and maybe you can work on bringing that up. It would be easier if I were sitting straight on the blocks here. And then pull shoulders back to pin that knee back and bring the leg up. So you also get some idea of how that bind works there too. Okay, so let's do it on the other side. Practice both. Arm balance and the bind. kind of go together. I like both because they both involve full body workouts. You're going to use shoulders, hips, core. All right, so here we go. Let's do my right, your left. Turn the foot out to the side. Open the knee away. Okay? Hands to the mat on the front of the sitting bones. So I just kind of pick the hips up and I'm more on the front of the sitting bones now. Do that same stretch we started with in the beginning on the other side just to even it up. We'll bring your right elbow in, hand under you. Keep hugging your elbow in. Your right shoulder blade comes down. You start pushing your ribs left. Your ribs are going to get pregnant on that left side a little bit. That means they open, bow out to the left. Bring the left arm forward, but not too far. Keep the elbow in. And drop the left knee away. Use the foot to help drop that pelvic bowl back as you reach the elbow forward, shoulder blade forward. Okay? And you may even reach a little further to try to deepen that stretch. You're going to keep your right shoulder blade pulling down, pushing the ribs across to the left. Keep the foot helping push the pelvic bowl back. And then come on back up. You should feel some opening here. You're trying to work on the ability to open these two apart, pelvis away from ribs. That's a big part of arm balancing, making space in that area. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and bring your left arm under the leg. Elbow out to the side. Other hand plants to help support you. So if that's new to you and you need to really work on getting the arm under there, you can bring the hand, this little V in the thumb here, against the leg, the shin, the ankle, and then you bring the elbow out to kind of save the place you got. Work the shoulder under there further. Elbow out, work the shoulder under there further. Trying to get that shoulder behind the leg. Then your elbow wings all the way out, and it's a little bit of work. You're basically rolling your shoulder forward. So elbow is up to make a shove. Okay? And then elbow wings forward. You'll start to feel it pressing against the leg. Okay? And then you're going to lean forward, weighting your hands. Pick your leg up. Your leg feels like it's pushing shoulder down. At the same time, shoulder rolls the leg up and back. Okay? And then that's prep for your arm balance. Right? Bring the foot back down. You can go straight into the bind work here. Keep the shoulder worked under the leg. Reach the top of the hand to the floor. Back, palm facing up. That's how you bend the elbow. So if you're trying to bind and you roll this way, your elbow doesn't bend the right way for you to reach. Keep the shoulder head rolled forward, palm facing up, and then your palm can come to the back, right? Then you reach around. Your left hand is going to grab your right wrist. Roll that shoulder back. You're going to pull on the right wrist with your left hand to open left shoulder. Then you push through the front knee, come to toes. This knee needs to come back in, goes out. And then you'll be able to come up. Is roll the shoulder back. That shoulder rolling back pulls the leg behind the ribs a little, which is a big hip stretch. Maybe you can straighten the leg up from here. Okay, so we got a little bind in there as well. Bring it back down, let go, and come on out. All right, next one. Little twist in this one. We're going to do the left side first. Okay, so let's move over to the left. This is my right. I'm still mirroring you. And you're going to let your left sitting bone hang off the left side of your blocks, quite literally. And I actually have to kind of lean right in order not to fall over to the left, okay? Then I'm going to slouch. Let your pelvic bowl drop back. So if you're trying to twist, which we're going to bring this leg across and try to bring it across, if your pelvic bowl is forward and you're using your back and your hip flexors and keeping this pelvic bowl really forward, you can't get your leg across. Your pelvic bowl's in the way. You got to let that release back and your leg can come across. Okay, so that's what we're about to do. That's why I say think slouch. Some people that makes sense too. Okay, so your left sitting bone's hanging off, left glutes hanging off, the left side's released. You're slouching the belly back a little, hips, pelvic bowl back a little, and then you should be able to bring that right foot across. It's parallel to the side, well, the side of your mat if it's this way, top and bottom to mat if it's sideways, and the feet, the foot and the knee meet with some pressure here. Okay, then you're going to keep this leg coming across, low belly sucking back. Your right hand can push right thigh across, left elbow reaching for the knee. Then hands come into prayer, one straight line across the elbows again. But now we're going to lean forward over that right foot. Try to tuck the knee up a little further under the armpit. Then your back hand pushes into your front hand, and I want your arms at a diagonal line, diagonally up and back, kind of to where the wall meets the ceiling, because we're going to try to lift up on the right side and open these ribs by pushing down with this hand, pulling with this elbow against the knee. Okay? This little bit of pressure, especially if you wing elbow out, shoulder up, and let your shoulder blade slide up, will open your ribs. Okay? Then you can pull the knee across further as you suck your low belly back. You'll feel your twist. At the same time, let's activate your feet. Stay leaning into that right foot. Right foot pushes mat away a little bit forward. And then your left knee is going to reach forward and open into the foot to help you twist a little deeper. Okay? Once you're nice and deep in your twist, you keep that shoulder head rolled forward, hand down, palm facing against the groin, and you should be able to get your hand underneath. So if you don't get your shoulder around, that's not possible. You have to first of all get the knee deep, but then also roll shoulder head forward, hand down. That rotation in the shoulder is important, and then hand can come through the hole to the back, your other hand reaching around. So your left hand is holding right wrist, hold down to open the chest, and you can push through the left knee to bring it up. You can extend leg, and you've got your bind. Okay? Now, let go of the bind. Keep elbow pinning that knee across the body. That's a big twist, right? You're trying to bring the ribs in front of that thigh. Bring your right hand to the ground. Keep pinning this knee across. It would fall if I let it, right? And then keeping this hand pretty far away, bring your other hand in close. Again, your hand needs to get under that elbow. I've already got a lot of pressure in the leg there, okay? Then tip up, push into the back foot, or before you do that, just see if you can support the leg and extend it out. Right? Then you can tip up, pushing into the back foot. If you've got that, and you've got enough strength, you lean forward, and there you are in your arm balance. One of a few different arm balances, okay? And then sit back down, bring it back. Come on out of it. Good. Okay? I'm going to add a quick little stretch there. You could end there if you wanted to, but just to open the hip because you just really pulled it across. So let's just bring that up into half lotus. Take your left hand, hold your right ankle, pull it all the way up to where the leg meets the hip. Drop the knee forward and down as much as you can. If yours is way up here, maybe put another block or lean forward to the floor so you can start sucking your low belly away from you and let the knee drop a little bit. Okay? But anyway, open the toes around the leg. Don't let the foot sickle up like this. So pinky toe down, drop the knee forward, lift your low belly back. If this is hard, just hold your shin, suck the belly back, release and open the back. Try moving back and forth between your shoulder girdle, shoulder blades pulling together and apart maybe, but keep low belly lifted. Pull shoulder blades together just enough to lift low belly, and as soon as you start lifting here, you might start to feel the knee can drop away. That's what you want to be doing internally to find that stretch. Okay, moving on in case you are able to do that. Let's use your hand to push into the hands to come forward. The knees are going to be parallel. Hands out in front, turn fingers out, thumbs in. We're going to have the hand turned out a little more than normal, then inner spiral arms, pick ribs up into the shoulder girdle, suck your low belly up, lifting pelvic bowl up, so you're rounding the spine. And then see if you can come forward, drop your hips into the stretch, drop the chest, and then bring it back the way you think. Okay. And drop back, think, down belly, and bring it all the way back. Just a little hip opener in case you want it. All right, back to our balancing second side. Okay. Bring your left foot forward. Okay. All right, and then go ahead and move over so your right sitting bone's hanging off your block. Okay. Let that sitting bone really hang, that whole right side releasing. You almost have to lean left to not fall. Then you're going to bring your left leg across. Foot and leg are in parallel like little railroad tracks. Your left hand comes to mid-thigh, pushes across, low belly sucking back, so no pelvic bowl in your way. And then elbow, this shoulder blade has to slide off the back. So you're really making some space here to get elbow to knee, hands in prayer. Lean into the foot if you're bringing your body over the foot. And then push with your back hand into the front, bring that elbow up a little so you can lift your left ribs and open them as you twist. Keep the low belly sucking back. Think of the right knee reaching forward and then into the foot, out to the side. Good. Chin in, think of rounding. Don't turn with the head. That'll kill your twist. It makes the bottom hip hold. Chin in. Don't twist with your neck. Let your back hip drop back a little bit. Release. Then find low belly as you twist. Keep pushing with the top hand. The elbow pulling the knee across. Okay, if you can get really deep, you can work. Use the hand to push the thigh across. Work that knee up into the armpit. Roll your shoulder head forward. Hand reaching back. You can come towards your bind. So what does that look like from the side? Okay, if you really work that elbow in there, hand coming back, hand flat on the back. Don't try to turn this hand over and reaching toward the hand. Keep it flat. The other one comes to meet it. Okay, so you're holding on to the opposite wrist. Then you're going to use that hand, pull down, the shoulder blade rolls to the back, and then maybe you can push into the knee that's on the floor and lift up. Your arm. There's your bind. Okay? Coming back down, taking it out. All right. Where's the arm balance? So you get it way across, work that knee into the armpit, or actually it's the quad really, and you're trying to bring your ribs across in front of this thigh. And then bring your left hand to the ground. Keep this elbow pinning the knee back. Left hand way wide, like you're almost gonna fall into it. And keep pinning knee back, hand comes under elbow. You actually have to push your knee out of the way, hand to the ground. And just think of leaning forward, like your ribs are gonna open up and lengthen, having space between each rib past the thigh, okay? Leaning out, all right? Let your left hip, your bottom hip release back a little into your block, okay? Once you're here, you can see if you can just extend that leg, all right? And then you can push into the foot to pick your hips up. Maybe you can lean forward enough and extend the back leg back, bring it into your full arm balance, whatever you want to do. And then have the seat back down, come on up. Let's go ahead and open that hip. So you're going to hold your ankle, not the foot, because we don't want to sickle the foot. Hold ankle, pull it all the way up to where the leg meets the hip. You're going to want to sit to the middle of your blocks now for this. Half lotus, try to drop the knee forward. If that's not going to happen with the foot turned out, so it feels like these two are both dropping down over a middle point at the ankle. If that's not going to happen, okay, if your knee is way up here, you actually need to lean forward. You need to bring your pelvic bowl forward to shorten and soften the hip flexor, because that's just holding the leg up. And lean into either a block or the ground, and let your knee drop toward gravity and suck your low belly away from that. Okay, that'll help you start to open the hip. If that's you, you're probably not going to do the next part. If you can hold on to the shin, drop the ribs back a little, and then pull shoulder blades together just a millimeter onto the back, and then suck low belly back more, drop the knee forward. Okay, so just some little ways to find this opening from the brain. Okay, come forward, use your hand, put the knees on one line. We'll do this one from the side so you can see it. This foot stays active, right? You're going to keep turned out. Hands are forward. Hands are turned out, arms inner spiral. Push your hands and pick your ribs up and shoulder girdle. Keep the foot turned out, and then suck the belly up. So think cat-cow. Okay, keeping it that high. Come forward, keeping ribs up and shoulder girdle. Then you can drop hips down like up dog, and then maybe you can drop chest down into shoulder girdle. So come out of it, pick the ribs up, low belly draws, and think of sitting back, pubic bone back, more like down dog. And then come on up. Okay, so if you're stuck and you can't come forward, it's probably because you let your ribs drop in your shoulder girdle. Now you're in your own way. So you've got to keep the ribs up by spreading the shoulder blades off the back, pressing through the thumb side of the hand. Keep your inner spiral, your pecs pull in, your collarbone feels like it's folding in half. Okay, you've got a lot of pressure in your thumb, and you're sliding ribs up in the shoulder girdle. Keep the ribs up there as your hips drop forward. Those two are hard to separate for most people. Then you can let your shoulder blades come together and ribs drop down. To come back up without hurting back, spread shoulder blades, the low belly pulls back. You should feel nothing in your low back there. Okay. You would have had your blocks behind you there. So when you sat back, you can sit back to your blocks and bring the leg out of that. And we'll just end where we started. Okay, blocks stacked. Feet out in front, elbows inside the knees, hands in prayer. Tip your blocks forward. Not exactly where we started, but it's close. When your hands come down into prayer, I'll show you this from the front. You're going to be in one straight line, okay, from elbow to elbow, hands coming down. Okay. If you're real flexible in the wrist, you may be able to drop lower, but that's weak. Keep it so that you're in one straight line. Tipping blocks forward, low belly drawing in, open your chest. From here, let's go ahead and bring your hands to the floor. Try to work hands back. If you're too tight in the hips, this isn't going to happen. Okay? Your elbows are going to try to plug back in your groin. Okay, so again, you're going to push into your own groin. Hands come in. Elbows are hugging in right now. And then try to pull your elbows out on the groin. Shoulders come forward. Sliding the shoulder blades up the ribs. Drop your head. This should just feel like a nice release in your low back and a little hip stretch. Okay, breathe. Roll to your inner foot, squeezing in on elbows. Suck low belly up. And roll to outer foot. Try to release hips a little more. Elbows pinning, knees open. Good. So what does this have to do with arm balancing? It's a nice way to open low back and hips as we end. But also, if you get used to having elbows as your shelf under the legs, you can start lifting the leg up one at a time, right? Or eventually you can come off the blocks. You can't actually do this one with the blocks in your way. And both legs can come up. Okay, so how would you do this without the blocks? Show you both. Okay. If you're on the blocks, knees are wide, hands come down behind your feet, elbows pin the groin back and open. And you roll your shoulders forward. Okay, if you want to come off your blocks, you lean forward. Elbows working back under the thighs more. Once your elbows are under your thighs, you can drop head and let shoulders round forward and get that nice back opening, hip opening here. Or you can try the arm balance. Elbows making your shelf. Upper arm making your shelf. Elbows right over hands. And then you're going to reach your feet forward, hips back. Elbows or knees are squeezing in on arms. You can even come to straight arms if legs squeeze in enough. But if you're doing the shelf way, which is easier to learn, you keep the elbows bent and roll it up. Good. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me. We'll do one little twist to help open your back in case it's not. Let's bring the tailbone under. Hands back, fingers facing forward. So you're laying on your blocks now. Roll your shoulders forward, low belly in, and just tip your blocks back. Release your low back. Inhale. Let your blocks come down. Roll the shoulders back, open the chest. And then roll shoulders forward, then elbows back, low belly draws. Take your knees to the left and your ribs to the right. Drop that left knee across. Bring it back. Ribs to the left. Knee across into the center line. Lift the outer foot and bring it back to the center. Bring it all the way up. Okay. And hands in prayer. Elbows can rest on the knees. Inhale. Exhale. Thanks very much. I hope you learned a little bit about arm balances or possibly deepened yours today with this arm balance practice. I'm Emily Sabo. This is EKS Speech Side Bodywork. I've got a YouTube channel. I try to put up workouts at least twice a week, Wednesday and Saturday. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.